for clear signs you're healing from narcissistic abuse. Ever notice that someone healing from narcissistic abuse starts to let go of the story? That's a powerful sign that real recovery is happening. Today, we're diving into why that shift is so crucial and how it signals true healing from the unique trauma of narcissistic abuse. Here's the thing, when the mind is shattered by this type of abuse, it's different. Narcissistic abuse leaves a particular kind of confusion. It's not like any other kind of emotional trauma. It has this way of sending you into a spiral, where you keep asking, why did they do this? Why did they say that? It's as if you're lost in an endless maze of questions with no way out. And suddenly, you're playing detective, piecing together every moment, every interaction, every strange thing they did. You're like that meme, the one where the conspiracy guys got photos, strings, and notes pinned all over the wall. You're connecting dots, creating theories, keeping files. You hold on to emails, mark down dates, save texts, all in an attempt to make sense of the senseless. If you're familiar with this, know that you're not alone. And in this video, we're breaking down how to finally step out of this obsessive cycle and find freedom. Jesus, I feel like I'm losing my mind because I can't make sense of what's happening around me. It's as if I'm caught in a fog, gaslit to the point of confusion by someone I care about deeply. God, I need your strength. On top of that, I'm dealing with post-traumatic stress symptoms, including memory loss. My mind and body are simply shutting down under the pressure of handling stress that feels too overwhelming. I'm finding it hard to keep track of who said what to whom. Time after time, I walk away from arguments absolutely certain I was right, only to somehow end up apologizing for things I didn't even do. It's like some twisted psychological judo move has flipped everything upside down. This cycle just keeps repeating. One clear indicator of true recovery from narcissistic abuse is letting go of the need to keep replaying that story. Initially, when coming out of a toxic relationship, we cling to the story, convinced that if we can just dissect it enough, we'll find the solution hidden within. But once you do the inner work, it becomes clear, there's no real answer to be found in those details. The story is meaningless. It's a fabricated reality, constructed by someone who depends on keeping things confusing and inconsistent just to maintain control. Trying to make sense of it all is a lost cause. Even they can't keep track of their own facades, so why would you be able to? Another sign of moving forward is noticing a shift in the emotional intensity tied to the whole experience. When our brains and bodies perceive a threat, our nervous system kicks into overdrive, creating a heightened state where we either want to fight, freeze, or escape. Because of that, every emotion connected to that story or person becomes intensely amplified. It's hard to talk about it without feeling a surge of emotional investment, a mix of anger, sadness, or even desperation. One key sign of healing, though, is when these intense emotions subside, replaced instead by a calm acceptance, a gentle detachment that reflects a sense of healthy surrender. This surrender isn't defeat, rather, it's the acceptance of what isn't real, the letting go of an illusion. You allow yourself to release the fantasy you once shared, leaving space to reconnect with reality because the past, the story, and even that person were all illusions. If therapy hasn't yet been part of your journey, I strongly encourage you to find a qualified therapist who understands narcissistic abuse. No course, book, or video can replace the value of face-to-face support from someone skilled in this field. Trying to handle this on your own isn't only overwhelming, it doesn't give you the foundation you deserve for real recovery. You may still be haunted by questions like, did they ever care? Was anything genuine? But pursuing these answers will only bring more pain, because if you were involved with someone who claimed to love you, yet nothing was true, that hurt runs deep. Facing the reality that they may have been someone else entirely, beneath the facade, can be devastating. Yet, the way forward lies in embracing an even deeper understanding, a true reality, not an imagined one. This isn't an alternative reality, but the reality itself, the recognition that, in essence, no real person was there. There's only the mirage, a hollow layer within another illusion. Why was everything filled with constant chaos, endless drama, and countless arguments? It was all a smokescreen, designed to keep your attention away from recognizing the emptiness of the person in front of you. they never had anything genuine to offer because, deep down, there wasn't an actual someone there. It's as if you were engaging with a shadow, a void, a hollow shell. When you do meet someone real in the future, you'll feel the difference. They may not be flawless or extraordinary, but they'll be solid, dependable, truly human. There will be no overwhelming theatrics or daily soap opera. Instead, there will be the steady presence of someone authentic and grounded in reality. Another indicator of overcoming the effects of narcissistic abuse involves the gradual recovery of your brain's threat response system. In a narcissistic relationship, your brain's HPA axis, the hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal glands, can become overloaded, distorting your sense of safety and leaving you in a heightened state of alert. This prolonged exposure makes it difficult to interpret subtle social cues, leaving you overly reactive and even confused by ordinary interactions. You may wonder if you're missing basic social cues or find yourself needing clear, straightforward communication because the nuances of human behavior now seem foreign. Be compassionate toward yourself. Give yourself permission to acknowledge the pain you're in without judgment. Tell yourself, right now, I am hurting, and I need time and help to heal. This isn't permanent, but it's real at this moment, and I'm ready to face it. With this acceptance, healing can finally begin. One of the clearest signs that someone is truly on the path to recovery is their willingness to be fully transparent in therapy, sharing the truth without holding back. When a person can openly reveal the shame, guilt, and strange dynamics within the relationship, the broken boundaries they'd never let anyone else cross but somehow allowed here, they're showing a huge step forward. Being this vulnerable, letting the therapist into those hidden parts, is often a powerful signal of someone either on their way to healing or already well on the journey. On the other hand, when someone keeps insisting that they're fine or totally okay, repeatedly and almost like a mantra, it can be a red flag. If they feel the need to declare it over and over, that alone hints at inner turmoil. People who genuinely feel fine don't have to convince themselves or others of it. It's important to recognize that it's completely acceptable to feel hurt. Getting hurt is part of being human. It's a natural response to opening up to others. Denying that pain is like adopting the narcissist's own distorted view of reality, pretending we're invulnerable and don't need help. Embracing this "I'm fine" shield won't make us stronger, it only masks the reality that others can, and sometimes will, hurt us. But that's a sign of having taken the risk to connect, to love, to let someone in. This time, that bravery may not have been met with kindness, but don't hold it against the courage itself or against love and connection. There are people whose minds are unwell, and society often tolerates this unwellness. We live in a time that might not overtly celebrate narcissism, but it does allow it, sometimes even enabling behavior that disregards empathy and compassion. A key indicator of genuine recovery is when a person embraces a new way of thinking. It's not something you can pretend, you can see and sense it when someone starts seeing life with renewed clarity. Honestly, moving on from the damage caused by a narcissistic relationship requires this profound internal shift. It calls for a change that reshapes how you perceive everything around you, which is ultimately a powerful, transformative experience. Let go of any remaining resentment toward them, your past, or even the circumstances that led you there. This process can lay the groundwork for a stronger, more grateful, grounded, and wiser version of yourself. It's likely true that, before all of this, you hadn't yet reached this level of emotional maturity. Let's be real, many of us carry around small pockets of emotional immaturity and are sometimes drawn to things that aren't healthy. Reflecting on that can feel like analyzing the 7 deadly sins. Where was the greed? The envy? The anger? What were you holding on to or trying to prove in starting that relationship? What part of you was drawn to this unhealthy bond? This isn't about blame, it's about reclaiming your ability to make choices. Yes, something terrible happened, and no, it's not about both sides. Kind-hearted people face negative experiences simply because others choose to use or harm them. It happens all the time. Yet, even so, we have choices. It's not productive to sit back, thinking, I had no role, no way of foreseeing it. If you grew up in a narcissistic family, maybe you couldn't escape it. But if you later chose a narcissistic partner, employer, or friend, you had some agency in that. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you're piling on more guilt, it means you're stepping into your own power. Think of it as the ability to respond. The more responsibility you can claim, the greater your capacity to respond, and the more empowered you become. My hope is for you to become strong, not to label yourself as a victim of narcissistic abuse forever or to stay immersed in narcissistic support groups and content indefinitely. My goal is for you to live fully and joyfully. A true sign of recovery from narcissistic abuse is moving forward with thankfulness, humility, and the ability to embrace life with a renewed sense of purpose and enjoyment. Thank you all for watching, and I deeply appreciate your time and attention.